All right, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people, welcome back to another episode of the Cultivating You podcast. It is I, your host, Tony, and I'm excited for this episode because it is officially the last episode of season one of the Cultivating You podcast. That's right, the last episode, meaning there will be a season two. But before we get into that, I just want to drop a little bit of context for this episode because it was filmed about 10 months ago. And I don't think I've dropped an interview for about a year or so now. And at the time, I was really in a weird headspace. I was really kind of in this depressive state, I guess you would say. And I just needed to get some shit off my chest, I guess. And so I watched the video probably a couple of days ago. I found it in my phone and I was like, damn, why didn't I not drop this episode? Because as I rewatched it, I was laughing out loud to myself. I was saying some very outlandish things, but I was also like really digging inside, like going inward, and really had some good self-reflection. And I'm kind of surprised at the self-awareness that I was showing at the time. And it's a really good episode. Not only do I get into why I'm feeling what I'm feeling and trying to figure shit out. I go into this story about something that happened to me, and even to this day, when I think about this story, it really just blows my mind. It's almost one of the weirdest things that has ever happened to me in my life, and I share the story with you, and it gets a little bit deep, but like when you get into these spiritual states, it's almost kind of weird to share certain things with people because you don't know how they're going to react or you don't know how they're going to feel, especially if they don't, or if they haven't experienced certain things in that way. So sometimes you tend to keep things to yourself, but I had to tell this story because it was just phenomenal. I felt like I change dimensions or something. But I'll let you be the judge for yourself as you watch the story. Again, I'm just really excited to be getting back into the podcast. Like I said earlier, I am dropping a new season. There's going to be new episodes. I currently have 2 episodes edited, filmed, ready to go. And the new drop date is going to be sometime around July 15th. I think on that Monday, uh, I think July 15th is Monday. I should have checked that before I stated it. But it's going to be the second weekend of July, that Monday. I'm going to drop new episodes. And, right now I'm just trying to get ahead of the game. I'm trying to get 3 or 4 episodes shot and edited just so I can get ahead of the curve and give myself a little bit of, give myself a little bit of a buffer so that I can do this more consistently and really get some good episodes out there for you. I'm super stoked. I got a new logo. I got a new intro song. I got some great interviews. I'm really excited to introduce some new people to you. Their stories are dope. The things they like to talk about and the things that they want to bring to the world, like it's really fun stuff. A lot of strong opinions. I'm really trying to break myself out of my comfort zone and push myself to new limits with this new season and talk to people that know a lot of shit about different things that I don't really get into so that I can push myself and challenge myself to get better and make myself uh, I don't know, just get to that new level and figure things out. And you know, what I want to do is I want to talk to people who have their shit together, who are doing the things that I want to do, who I see as motivational people who are doing cool things in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you get better. That's how you learn, and that's how you move forward by getting that wisdom from those people and pushing yourself to be better every day. So this is going to be a really dope new season. I'm really, really excited for you guys to watch it. And if you haven't already, please, it do me a solid. It's free to do. Hit the subscribe button, click that bell notification so you know when all the new episodes are coming out. Drop a like on this video and just stay tuned and share the episodes if you like what we have to say. Even if you don't, you know what I'm saying, drop a comment, join in on the conversation. Let's talk it out. That's how we move forward. We have conversations with people that we don't like, or not that we don't like, but we don't necessarily agree with their opinions and things like that. So we have to have these discussions, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you move forward. That's how we come together and break barriers and do things like that. So again, please like, please comment, please subscribe. It does me a solid. It's free to do, and it really helps out the channel. I'm trying to motivate, I'm trying to elevate, I'm trying to illuminate, I'm trying to do all that stuff. I'm trying to share people's stories, and it's going to be a great season, and I really hope you enjoy. So without further ado, please enjoy this last episode of season 1 of the Cultivating You podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Welcome to the Cultivating You podcast with Anthony Dwayne.
All right, let's do this. How's it going? It's your boy Anthony Dwayne Lopez, Tony Lopez, whatever you like to call me. Call me that. Back here with another Cultivating You podcast. I'm really excited to be shooting a podcast right now. It's been probably a couple of months, and I've been really feeling the itch. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just creatively. I've been wanting to kind of express myself. I know I'm just sitting here in front of a camera with a mic, just kind of brain barfing at everybody, but I miss it. I really do miss it. And I know I haven't been super consistent with everything, and that's okay. I'm not really too worried about that. I've really just been wanting to use this podcast as a creative outlet for myself and have fun with it and do the things that I want to do. I don't want to have it be some kind of like structured, like militant style type of thing that is going to make it into something very robotic and very, unenjoyable. I don't want it to be, I want to be able to do things when I want to do it, when I have a spark, when I have a creative burst, when I have, I want it to be something relevant, something raw, so that people can get in touch with it and really know where I'm coming from. Or at least hopefully my hope is that people can feel that I have something to say, if that makes more sense. But yeah, I really been wanting to just get back on here. It's like, it's almost like I've been contacting, extraterrestrials and UFOs using Dr. Greer's CE5 method. And I got really into it, and I was loving it. And they were coming down and they were visiting me, and I was getting these really weird interactions, and it was very awesome. And then I just stopped doing it. I just stopped doing the meditations. I stopped doing the contact, and the aliens, they haven't been around. They haven't been back. They haven't tried to contact me or anything like that. And that's kind of what it feels like. That was a weird, obscure little, UFO unacknowledged reference. But if you get it, I hope you got it. But that's what it feels like. I feel like I've been, missing my contact with people. And even, right now it's just I'm talking into a camera. So I don't even know, if people are going to use this. Maybe some of my listeners are going to hear this. I meant to say, but yeah, actually, I think I have 48 subscribers, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm just kind of rambling, man. I'm just like, I just wanted to get some shit off my chest today, I guess. It's been a rough month, I would say. It's been a really rough go. I'm starting to feel like the needle is starting to move back into a more positive direction, but to be honest with you, I've been really kind of down in the dumps. I've been in a very depressive state lately, and I don't really know how to snap out of it, and I don't know why I'm there. It's just been a weird feeling. I'm not here to kind of like, I'm not here to bring anyone down or to kind of bitch and moan or complain or anything. I'm just kind of stating what is. And it's just been weird because I've been doing the 75 hard program again. This is my second attempt at completing the program, which I completely plan on doing. And it's one of those things that where it's like I'm doing all the things that have been helping me in the past, right? Whenever I get down into low states, into more depressive states, which I'm kind of prone to. But even saying that, I want to stop saying that because I'm not prone to depressive states. I may have been in the past, but I just need to stop telling that story. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to stop telling that story, and because it's something that I can let go of, and I don't need to be that person anymore. I can be someone who is in high states all the time, and higher states of consciousness, right? But the first time I did 75 hard, it brought me out of this deep, dark pit, you know what I'm saying? And it brought me up so high that I was like, this is amazing. This is the best thing on the planet. Everyone needs to try this. And, this second time around where I'm trying it, I'm now on day 45 and none of that is happening. The experience has been almost a complete 360. It's been a completely different experience. And it's been kind of a bummer, and I've been trying to work it out and figure it out. It's like, why, maybe I just need to stop trying to figure shit out, and let it take its course. But I have done some thinking about it, and I think I've kind of pinpointed a few things and narrowed down some things as to why, this round of 75 hard hasn't made me feel like this superhuman being that I felt like in the past. And, I think it has a lot to do with maybe just the repetitive motion of it right now. I feel very fucking robotic. I'm doing the same thing in and out each day. It's been very, very little free time. A lot of studying, a lot of reading. I think that has a little bit to do with it is the very, very little free time that I'm getting for myself. And I knowingly, put myself in this position because I knew I had a lot going on with schoolwork and with work and with extracurricular activities and just the family stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that's been really rough lately for me is just I've just been having this deep urge to connect with my children. And it's really odd because we are in the same home. We're in the same environment, you know what I'm saying? But I'm feeling a lack of connection with them. I've been around them for so long, but it feels like I'm not being present, or I'm not creating memories or creating a deeper relationship or a deeper bond that I feel like I need to have. And it's a really shitty feeling. And I know that the shitty feelings, are my body telling me something, right? It's work it out, figure it out, go do something with your children. You know what I'm saying? Go have a day where we, go hiking, or I've been wanting to take them shooting, bow and arrow shooting and stuff like that. So I've been meaning to go play basketball and do all this stuff. And I just really need to do that. And it's really a weird feeling because it's like, man, I couldn't imagine being let's say divorced from Crystal or divorced from my wife and not, and living on my own or something while she has the kids and not being able to see my kids every day. I think that would cause me a mental breakdown. it's weird just having the shitty feelings about being a dad lately, as I have just being in the same, domicile with them and still feeling like I'm not there for them or not being there with them. And I'm sure I'm hoping a lot of dads can relate, but I don't know, maybe you don't, maybe you're just a much better dad, or I don't know. See, these are the things that I'm kind of ruminating a lot about, but I'm sure everything's going to be fine. It's just that it's important to me. It's important to me that I connect with my kids because they're growing up so fast and time flies by so fast, like crazy fast. And it's almost like before I know it, they're going to be out and gone. And all these moments to really connect and to really bond are going to be, they're no longer going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So I think time is really flying by, and it's really making me reflect on stuff, how I'm using my time and what I'm doing with it. And it's like I couldn't imagine how my dad feels, where he missed out on a lot of time with me, and I know he regrets it. I know he still apologizes to me to this day about that, and I've long since forgave him, and I always try to tell him, like, hey, all is forgiven. Let's take advantage of now. Let's take advantage of this moment now, and let's move forward and create a relationship that we didn't have back then, or this or that. But I just couldn't imagine. I can't imagine the like kind of pain that must give a person. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of been going on. But this 75 hard, I was really expecting it to help me, kind of get me out of this the bad headspace, because it normally does, and it just hasn't. And maybe it's just that I need to. I've been thinking that I need to just keep pushing through the mundane, the fucking maddening monotony of doing the same shit in and out day after day after day after day. You know what I'm saying? I just need to grind through it and push through that, because one thing I did realize is that throughout my life, I've always been kind of a jumper, like a hopper. I hop around, right? And I've probably alluded to this in other podcasts where I'll find something new, and it's like a shiny, bright new toy, right? And you play with it, and it's novel, right? And then you have this honeymoon period with it where everything's great and wonderful, and then after you get used to it, it's like, oh, okay, this toy is fucking boring. Let's find a new one, and that's where that's kind of how I am, and through time, as I've kind of figured out my path, or at least gotten to about as close as I think I've ever been to figuring out my purpose, or what my drive in life is, and what I want to do with myself, and where my life is heading. I feel like I'm like, all right, I need to stick to the fucking program. I need to stick to it, and no matter what, I'm going to just put my head down, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to go for it, and I'm not going to stop. No matter how hard the road gets and how rough it gets, I'm not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? But this hasn't been my pattern throughout my life. So now that I'm kind of head down in it, and the novelty of the great romantic ideas that I had about my future, and I still have, but you know what I'm saying, that stuff has kind of died down. Now we're out of the honeymoon phase, and now we're in the grind part of it. And not to make it sound as if the grind is not pleasurable, and it should be pleasurable, and we got to do everything that we can to make sure that the process is fun, right? Enjoy the process and everything like that. But what I'm getting to is that my brain is used to that old routine, that old pattern. And right now it's saying, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's telling me you're going to do this for the next 10 years of your life. Like, that's dumb. You're like, you can't do it. You can't do it. I'll get these fucked up thoughts every now and then, and it's like, this is stupid. You should just give up and try something new. Let's get some new dopamine going. You know what I'm saying? Let's try and conquer the world in another way. And I'm just starting to realize that it's like, this is my brain, like, just telling me it's getting bored. You know what I'm saying? And I have to power through that boredom. And I'm going to, and even as I describe, myself being in kind of a lower state or in more of a depressive state, it's actually not been that bad, especially compared to the darker states that I've been in my in previous years. You know what I'm saying? It's actually like, fuck, man, like, I'm actually handling this surprisingly well. I'm really proud of myself, and it's because I have the tools now. I have the tools to help me regulate myself, regulate my emotions, and really, have this self-inquiry, right? The self-inquiry, enough to be able to sit there and kind of analyze my thoughts and my feelings and figure out why things triggering me, what is triggering me. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing that there's this part of me that really wants to drink alcohol. You know what I'm saying? I'm noticing it. And this very structured, mundane, monotony thing that I keep talking about, like this little alcoholic in the back of my brain is like, dude, let's go have some fucking fun. What are you doing, man? Let's go cause some chaos. Let's shake some shit up a little bit. Let's go throw a fucking chair through a window. Like, it's telling me it's asking me to do all these things, and it's like, whew, all right. It took me 2 or 3 days to figure out what that was, but I'm seeing, and then there's that other underlying thing underneath that, is where it's like, why is that coming through? What need is it serving, or what what is that trying to cover up, I guess. So it's I'm kind of dialing it in, and I'm seeing how my own brain is playing tricks on me, but I'm just really grateful that over the last 10 years, I've done a lot of work, and I have the tools in the tool belt now that's actually making this all pretty manageable. And I think the fact that I'm doing 75 hard, and I'm absolutely clean. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything. I'm not smoking. I think, my real addictions are probably caffeine and staring at my phone for too long. That's another thing that I really need to quit. It's like really depleting my dopamine. And so I want to get off of that. And I think I'm going to make more of an effort to do that. But it's really what it boils down to is I'm learning that my mind wants me to self-sabotage. It wants me to self-sabotage. It wants me to, fuck up all the progress that I've been making over the last 45 days. And I'm just battling that by being present, being aware, not staying in my head and sticking to these emotions that these thoughts drum up for me. So my meditative practice has been really, really huge, especially just getting back into it and really just calming my mind and calming those thoughts. And, I think everything's really going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. It's okay to have these down negative feelings. I'm just going to weather the storm, and I'm going to keep on pushing through, because you have to, right? And the storm is here for a purpose. The storm is here. It's like that saying, calm seas never made a skilled sailor, right? The storm is here for a purpose. It's here to challenge you, and it's here to tell you something. There's something your body is telling you when you're feeling down this way. So if and it's this part, kind of the hard part of me being open about being down and stuff like that, because I know a lot of people out there, I know a lot of you out there are in much more dire mental situations, but this is all I'm really trying to say, is that this darkness is opportunity for you to become better. So there's a part of you that almost has to enjoy and has to love when this period comes, right? When this fall period comes, when the leaves start dying and everything kind of gets a little bit more, dark and cloudy. You know what I'm saying? It's time for reflection. It's time for you to come back in the next season and sprout and shoot up like a phoenix and grow into a bigger, better person. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the silver lining that I keep seeing through all this stuff. And it's how I choose to really stay positive as I'm navigating it, as I'm navigating the storm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely I've definitely just been feeling a little bit disconnected, but that's going to be okay. And I'm going to be present. I've actually started a few new practices, like a few new meditative practices, which have helped out quite a bit. And one of them is really cool, and I want to share it with you. And I think if you have the time to do this, or make time to do this every single day, you're going to find some pretty profound effects from it. And it's just awesome. So I'll get into it. But basically what you want to do is you want to turn on a bathroom faucet or a kitchen sink, a faucet, and turn it on just enough to where there's a drip of water that comes out. And you want about 5 drops of water per minute. So this drop is, about every 15, 20 seconds or so, you want a drop to happen. And what you do is you take about 20 minutes to just really focus on this. And what you do is pull up a chair, pull up a stool, whatever you got, stare at this water droplet forming on your faucet. Stare at it, like completely dial in on it. It's a form of meditation. And if you know mindfulness meditation, what you're doing is you're focusing on your breathing. And when stray thoughts come in, you recognize that you're thinking, and then you let that thought go away, and then you come back to your breath. And this is the same concept, but you are using the water droplets, and your eyes aren't closed. They're wide awake, and you're looking at this droplet, and you're becoming aware of the droplet and how it's forming, and as it drops, and all the splash that it makes as it hits the ground. And you keep doing that over and over, and you keep your attention, your focus on this droplet, and you'll be very, very surprised at all of the other things that you become aware of in your peripherals. You know what I'm saying? And just in the room, and how aware you become. And if you can keep this attention focused, it's really a game changer, and it really keeps you out of your head. And that's a really good one. So I just wanted to share that one with you. And I think everyone should try that. Also, another thing I wanted to talk about was, I just wanted to say thank you to, I want to say maybe a little bit more than a handful of people over the last 4 or 5 months or so, even maybe over the last year. I feel like there's been like 5, 7 of you that have just kind of reached out to me, right? And we aren't necessarily, a few of you, like, we're pretty close, but even a few of you, like, we hardly know each other. We're just acquaintances, and maybe you watch my stuff, and maybe you have followed like my Instagram channel or whatever, but you've reached out, you instant message me, and maybe alluded to the fact that you might be going through something, struggling a little bit, wanted to talk about, benefits of maybe a microdosing session, or, essentially you had something going on, right? Where it's like, you want to get better. You want to start feeling better. And I just want to say thank you to those people who have reached out to me and have been kind of vulnerable with me and opened up, even though we're not like the closest of friends, but I guess maybe you trusted me enough, or you feel comfortable enough asking me about these things. And I just want to say, again, thank you, because in the way that I may be helping you, hopefully I did help you, but in that same way, you are actually helping me, because a lot of these things that you guys are going through, that you're asking me about, I've been there, and maybe I am there, and maybe, for me, it's like, what would I tell myself, right? How would I treat myself. You should, like, it's like that saying, you should treat yourself like you would treat somebody you love, right? And when I'm talking to you guys and when I'm telling you or giving recommendations, or, like, hey, listen to this book or try this practice, or do it like this, or, maybe try this out. These are things that I definitely try to tell myself now. They're things that I wish I could tell my older self, and they're things that I'm hoping that you guys can use and put into practice into your own life and help you. So, and that just helps me even further along. It is more, it's very therapeutic for me to help people. I don't know why. It gives me a great boost of energy. But I just want to say thank you for, like I said, whoever's been reaching out and just been kind of being open and vulnerable. It's been pretty freaking cool. Okay. I need to tell everybody this. I need to tell this story. I need to get this story off my chest a little bit, because I've told a few people in my close circle, like my wife and my close friends and a few others that I think would get it. But I've been very reluctant to tell this story to just like a large group of people, because it's very, I just don't know how people would take it, and I don't know if they'd even be receptive to it. But I just want to say it now, because it's blown my mind ever since it happened. And every time I think about it, I get this like weird feeling in my chest. And I feel like I witnessed a glitch in the Matrix, which is very weird. It was a very, very, very weird experience. And I'll just get into it because I want you to hear it. And if you have any insight as to what you think this might have been or what might have happened to me, I want you to please contact me, let me know, give me some insight. I've had a few conversations with people, and we've kind of dialed it in a little bit. Like I said, all I can really say is that I think it was a glitch in the Matrix, but I don't know. Here it is. So, okay, I've been getting into energy work, right? And not necessarily stuff like Reiki or anything like that, but more like visualization, ceremonial magic visualization, chakra visualizations, like working with the energy centers in the bodies. And a buddy of mine actually also gave me this YouTube video that, I think his name's Wild, Oscar Wilde or Matthew Wilde, or I forget his name. But basically, he's a lecturer on the Tao. He's a Taoist, and I'm absolutely fascinated by it. I'm absolutely fascinated by energy work and the stuff that I had been doing at the time. I'm still doing it, but I was very, very like deep into it, like very deep committed practice to it every day for like 3 or 4 months straight. And I felt things changing around me. Like I felt just more synchronicities with the universe, just giving me signs and weird shit happening, like me thinking of something and it literally happening within minutes or hours of it. You know what I'm saying? Like really, and it like constantly happening. And I was just getting really into it. And I was on this, like, I was on a trip, right? Not a physical trip, but it was just tripping me out. And so I was listening to, during that time, I was listening to this lecture. I think it's called like the 33 Ways of the Tao or something like that. I'll put the video up in the link if I can find it. I need to start listening to it again. But one of the things, one of those 33 things that the guy talks about, this Wild guy, is about picking up other people's energy fields, right? So like, this is science. This is known. We all have an energy field. It's like our aura, but it's like this electrical signal that we emit from our bodies. And people in high consciousness have a bigger, larger field, and people, others may have a smaller field. But you can actually pick up things from other people by being inside their field, right? And so what he's talking about is like one of the practices that he talks about is like as you're walking down the street on a normal day or whenever you're around people, look at them and try and tap into their energetic field and try and get this like flash of insight about who they are, what they do. It's almost like this like flash judgment that you're putting on somebody, but to see if you can pick up any like feelings or sensations from them. And it was I was like, all right, I want to try this just off the cuff. I want to try this. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, so I need to backpedal just a little bit because leading up to this, I'd been very deep into a Joe Dispenza meditation where it's also getting you, it's actually like a Kundalini meditation that brings up your energy from your perineum, your sacral chakra, and it brings it up into the top of your head, and you're like transitioning this energy up into the top out of the crown of the head. And it gets you in touch with all the energy centers. And after you do that, you basically get in touch to your inner self, like that's within you, your highest self. It's like your divine self, right? And you ask it things, and you ask it to do things for you. And, you tell it that who you do not want to be anymore. And you ask it to help you become the person that you want to become. And there's a point in there where it's like, all right, just get crazy. Ask it for something crazy. Ask it for something wild, right? Like, just don't hold back. Just really do it. And I was just like, well, I was like sitting there. I was like, what should I ask? And I was like, fuck it. I want to be psychic. Like, I want to just start reading people's minds and shit. Like, I want to get clairvoyance. I want, out of body. I want some like astral projection shit to go down. You know what I'm saying? And so prior to, doing this practice that I'm hearing about in the 33 ways of the Tao, I had been really deep into this practice. And it's like, it's like ask your higher self to do this for you and do it in a way that is best for you or something. So I had done that the morning prior to actually doing this exercise. And where I did this exercise was on Tumamoc Hill. If you live here in Tucson, you know Tumamoc Hill. If you don't, it's a little, I believe it's about 1.5 mile little, 700 foot elevation change jaunt up the side of this hill, right? And a bunch of people go there. It's like really popular. And I was like, well, I'm going to go up to Tumamoc and I'm going to do this practice. Like every person that walks by me, I'm going to do it, right? So it would, I'd be walking and this little old lady would be coming. I'm just like, and I'm staring at her. Like I'm trying to like look these people in the eyes too, to see if they're going to like look back at me and like, kind of give me any reaction and like, what the fuck's he staring at or something like that. But I was trying to get like a jolt of energy out of people so that I can pick up on it, right? So I'm like, staring at them, like blatantly staring at them. They probably thought I was weird as hell. And I'm walking up there and I see like the little old lady. I'm like, oh, she likes cranberry juice. Like weird shit was popping into my head. And she's like, she probably hates her daughters, but like loves her grandkids. It's like, it was just like, maybe I was just psychoanalyzing everybody, but it was really weird. So I would do that. And then another guy would come up there. I'm like, he's a cool old man. You know what I'm saying? Like he drinks whiskey in the evening and I don't know, random stuff. I don't actually remember like any specific things that I picked up off of anybody, but I felt like there's one point where I was like, I'm getting good at this. And I had no idea if like these people were actually that way. I could have been totally off, but I was like, this is cool. It was a cool exercise and I enjoyed doing it. So I did it all the way up to the top of the mountain and I got up there and I started walking back down. Okay. So now as I start walking back down, I come around the corner and I'm like, all right, I'll start up again. And I started with this other person and then I did it to another person. And then this third person on the way back down, for some reason, they stood out to me more than all the other people. For some reason, I had a reaction to them almost. I was like, oh, and I really dialed in onto the details of this person because like I remembered specifically what they looked like. He had, he had gray hair. He had one of those, like, I don't know, is it a tennis hat or a golf hat? They don't have the tops, but it's just like the bill and the strap, and it was a red W. It was like I don't know, Washington or Wisconsin college kind of type hat. And he had this like very fitted zip up kind of turtleneck sporty fleece on, and cargo shorts and white shoes or something like that. And I remember distinctly he had sweat dripping down like his eye into the crease of his nose right here, and he was hot. But I didn't see his eyes. His bill was like covering his eyes, and I noticed him like very distinctly, and I don't even think I tried to pick up anything off of him. I was just noticing him, and I really noticed him. I was like, well, but I didn't really pay it any more mind than that. You know what I'm saying? And I started going back down. And as I'm going back down, I'm also listening to a podcast, like some kind of podcast about some spirituality type of shit. And I remember like listening to it at the same time. And somebody said something in it that gave me like a really profound realization or something. It made me a little bit emotional. It was really weird. I got like almost teary-eyed when I was listening to it, and I had forgot for a second that I was actually doing that exercise. And I was like, and I had been by myself for a minute, and all of a sudden I'm going, and I kind of see somebody coming up through the trees around the bend that I'm going down. And I was like, oh, like I kind of snapped myself out of like whatever emotional thing I was going through, and was going to pay attention to this next person. And as I pay attention to this person, I look up and I stop dead in my fucking tracks. And I look, and it's the same guy. It's the dude, like hat, fleece, cargo, same view, same trickle of sweat down his nose. And I was like absolutely baffled. I was absolutely like mind blown. Like, what the fuck just happened right now? Because here's the thing is like the top where I'm coming down from, it's like this zigzag pattern back and forth down the mountain, and it's steep as shit. It's not like a flat level plane, and I'm barely coming down off of like the first or second like turn. And the only way that the dude that I saw up at the top could have got down below me and came back up was if he would like have gotten to the top in 30 seconds and then sprinted down the side of the mountain, which is like all rocks and cactus and all kinds of Palo Verde trees and all kinds of bullshit. And then for some reason came back up on the trail, like just one or two zigzags away, and started coming back up again. And I was like, I just seen this guy. There's no way he just don't like what are the odds that there are two 55-year-old men, twins, who decided to wear the same thing today and go up the mountain together? And it was bizarre. It was the most bizarre thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I didn't know what happened. And going back to that thing where like I'm being psychic or doing something, I was like, was this guy a premonition? Was he actually there up top? When I first seen him, and then like I psychically manifested him, like, or I knew he was coming. Or I like this one a little bit better. My buddy suggested that I changed timelines. Like I went into a different, like an alternate universe, and that's why I call it a glitch in the matrix, where it's like from this point at the top of the hill, I switched into an alternate universe where that guy was just about 2 minutes behind. You know what I'm saying? And like for whatever reason, I don't know. It was bizarre. It blew my mind the rest of the day. I had to tell my wife, and I was like afraid to tell people because I was like, it probably doesn't even sound that crazy to you, but imagine experiencing that. Like imagine experiencing something so bizarre. And it was real. It wasn't like a ghost. It wasn't like anything. It was him. It was him twice. And how did he get there? How did he get there? I don't know. Weird stuff. But, you know, when you get really deep into a practice and when you start really looking at this world with eyes open and becoming aware of shit, you start to see weird things. Like weird things start happening. You know, and that type of stuff, even when I got off of my discipline, hasn't really slowed down. It's almost like I don't know. It's like I opened up an antenna in my body and I'm like starting to receive some stuff, and it's weird. The whole vibe of the earth is weird right now. Like I'm feeling a lot of weird shit lately. Like new timeline shit. It makes sense. It really does. But hell, I think I'm going to stop rambling for now. I'm glad I jumped on here and just started, talking. Hopefully you guys are excited to watch more content. I'm really going to try and push out more content. This one was just, just sometimes you just kind of got to ramble. You got to fucking, just, like I said, brain barf it all out and kind of work it through. And I don't know if there's anything in here that's going to help anybody. I just needed to do this. I needed to kind of vent a little bit. And, I'm planning on doing some more interviews. Listen, if you want to jump on a podcast with me, let's do it. Like, you don't have to be some fucking professional. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to, like, we can just talk. Like, we just have a conversation. We can just get into some deep shit. Let's talk about, UFOs and stuff like that. And I don't know, not even that. Let's talk about, I don't know, weird shit. Ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic is pretty cool. I want to do some other solo episodes, like, because ceremonial magic is kind of cool. I've been getting into the tarot. I've been playing tarot cards and shit, and like learning some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff there, and I know it. I get it. If you're not into all that stuff, you don't like the occult. You think it's like demon, devil shit. That's fine. We don't have to go there. It's not. Quit being a baby. But if you guys want to get into something, if you just want to talk, you want to have a conversation, I'll come to you. We'll throw the mics on. We'll hash some shit out and just have a good time. There's a few of you I'm going to be reaching out to. I really want to get onto the podcast, but other than that, stay tuned. I've kind of given up on the scheduled every Monday, thing. I'm going to drop shit when I drop shit, whenever it feels good and whenever it comes out. And hopefully you guys will be there for it. I got some plans for some things and all that jazz. So yeah, I hope y'all have a great week, great weekend, wherever this podcast finds you. Stay positive. If you're down in the dumps, just keep pushing forward. Make the decision to do the thing that is going to be best for you. And, don't use the escapes to deal with it. If you got to, just sit there and sit with it. Just sit there and sit with it, and eventually it will pass and you'll be okay. And the sun will shine and the birds will chirp. And I love y'all. All right. Peace.